law there is a provision, and what is the provision? The provision is it is time bound. Insolvency and bankruptcy code is time bound. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, that intent of keeping it time bound has not really been implemented in the true spirit of it, because for all the stakeholders somehow have not understood the intent of the lawmakers, and that is why the time frameness is missing. But still it is not as bad as it was in the case of the earlier laws. So with this purpose, the insolvency and bankruptcy code was brought into existence. This, friends, you must remember. And why you must remember? Because when you become insolvency professional, you must remember as to this is the purpose behind this law. And therefore, in my practice, whatever I do, I should do in a way so that with my acts, implementation of the true spirit of the law is possible. Now, let me give you an idea, because you have to prepare for this exam, and since you have to prepare for this exam, obviously you must know as to what does this law contain. And this law contains, number one, it is time bound process. And please understand it means what? It means there's something which is known as corporate insolvency resolution process, CIRP. Now CIRP का मतलब क्या है, समझ के लीजिए. CIRP का मतलब ये है कि अगर हिंदुस्तान में ये कानून आने के बाद अगर कोई कंपनी अपने क्रेडिटर्स को, ऑपरेशनल क्रेडिटर्स को या फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर्स को, अगर कोई कंपनी अपने ऑपरेशनल क्रेडिटर्स को या फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर्स को पेमेंट करने में डिफॉल्ट करती है, तो अनलाइक इन द पास्ट दिस कंपनी कुड गो ऑन फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम. टुडे द रूल इज, if the company is making default in honoring the obligation to its operational creditors or to its financial creditors, the operational creditor or the financial creditor can simply file an application with the NCLT following the due process. And if the NCLT is convinced that yes, company has defaulted in honoring the obligation to the financial creditor or to the operational creditor, what the NCLT will do, NCLT will immediately accept that application. And please understand, it has consequences. What are the consequences? The moment NCLT accepts an application filed by an operational creditor or by a financial creditor, the NCLT will pass an order, number one, appointing a person as IRP, interim resolution professional. And this IRP then will work practically de facto as chief executive officer of that company. Number two, the board of directors of this company, whoever they may be, doesn't really matter, will be suspended. That means the board of directors will not have the power to take any decision or interfere or intervene in the matters of the company. And that is the order number two that will come from the NCLT. And order number three, the IRP will ensure formation of the committee of creditors. And this committee of creditors and the insolvency resolution professional or IRP, both of them together, then will run the company and will run the company with an intent to keep it as a going concern and find out a new buyer, new investor, or new resolution applicant for this company who can take this company over and ensure that this company is run profitably. This company is run profitably. Why? Because if a company is making losses, as I said earlier, please remember, you are damaging the economy of the country. You are harming every citizen of the country. And therefore, if you are making losses, you have no right to be in that business. You better be out of it. Let someone come in your place who will run this company and make profit out of it. So this is a time bound process. Initially, the period was of 180 days, and subsequently, you could go for an extension of 90 days. So maximum period that would, in which this CIRP would need to be completed was of 270 days. And if this process was not completed within the period of 180 days or extended period of 270 days, in that case, please remember, this company will go compulsorily for liquidation. And these were the kind of timelines that have been prescribed under the law, which these timelines, of course, subsequently, because of the experience, have been revised. But this is the intent is to make a time frame. The intent is to make a time frame. So now the IBC code, friends, is divided into two parts. The one is for the corporates and the second is for the non-corporates. And I'm sure this will help you when you start preparing for this exam. So corporate का मतलब क्या है? Corporate का मतलब है all the companies incorporated under the Companies Act, whether private limited or public limited, doesn't really matter. Every company registered under the incorporated under any statute. And number two, LLP. So LLP and the any company incorporated under a statute would be covered under the first part, that is corporate. And for corporate, there are three steps, three processes which are prescribed under the IBC code. The process number one is CIRP. CIRP का मतलब क्या है? जैसा कि मैंने अभी आपको बताया, company is defaulting in paying its dues to the operational creditors or the financial creditors. And please remember, operational creditors will also include the employees. So if the company is not paying the salaries and benefits to the employees, then even the employees can also file an application in the NCLT for the CIRP of the company. Of course, the company itself can also file an application under section 10 of the IBC for its own CIRP, but that is a different story altogether. The point is, company cannot take it for granted. The board of directors, the promoters cannot take it for granted the control. Those days are over. So days are over when you would think that मेरे पास में 51% कंपनी का शेयर है, इसका मतलब मैं कंपनी का मालिक, कंपनी मेरे कंट्रोल में, कंपनी के ऊपर मेरा मैनेजमेंट. Not anymore. Not anymore. You may hold 100% equity of a company, doesn't really matter. If you have failed, if you have defaulted in making payment to an operational creditor, in making payment to a financial creditor, then you are finished. Then you have no place in that company. You will have to shunt yourself out of that company. So number one is the CIRP process. That means उस कंपनी को रिवाइव करने का है. और नंबर टू इज द लिक्विडेशन प्रोसेस. लिक्विडेशन प्रोसेस का मतलब यह है कि अगर ये कंपनी रिवाइव नहीं हो रही है और इसका जो टाइम है वो निकल चुका है, तो दिस कंपनी हैज टू गो फॉर कंपल्सरी लिक्विडेशन. एंड प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई. डज इट मीन दैट द गवर्नमेंट वांट्स कंपनीज टू बी लिक्विडेटेड एंड क्लोज्ड? ऑफ कोर्स नॉट. Please understand the intent of the government behind it. The intent of the government is very simple. If a company can be made operational and which can run profitably, that is the best thing to happen. Now, if a company cannot be made operational, if the company cannot be revived, the best thing is to liquidate it. And why liquidate it? Because when you liquidate it, what happens? You are able to sell the assets of that company to somebody. So at least what will happen, the assets that otherwise were lying dead and idle will now be purchased by somebody, and that person who is purchasing these assets, he would be able to make use of these assets for improving and helping economy of the whole country. And that is the reason the second process under the CIRP for the corporates is liquidation process. Then you have a fast track corporate insolvency resolution process. फास्ट ट्रैक का मतलब क्या है? छोटी कंपनी है, साइज छोटा है, और अगर साइज छोटा है तो उसको 180 डेज का पीरियड लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है, उसको 90 डेज के एक्सटेंशन की जरूरत नहीं है. अगर कंपनी छोटी है, इनकम कम है, टर्नओवर कम है, प्रॉफिट कम है, नेटवर्थ कम है, वो सारे पैरामीटर्स अगर कम उसके अंदर हैं, तो इस कंपनी को 180 डेज वेट कराने का मतलब नहीं है. देन उसके लिए फास्ट ट्रैक है. फास्ट ट्रैक का मतलब क्या है? फॉर दीज कंपनीज द नॉर्मल प्रोसेस इज 90 days. And if it is not completed in 90 days, then you can get an extension of 45 days maximum. And then that means what? That means this company, which is fitting into the category of fast track, will have to be completed within a period of 135 days. If it doesn't happen, then the company will have to go compulsorily for liquidation. So that is your fast track corporate CIRP. And the fourth thing is a voluntary liquidation. Now, what is voluntary liquidation? We all understand what is voluntary liquidation. So today, if a company decides to wind it itself by voluntarily, then again this company has to go to the NCLT as per the provisions of section 59 of the IBC. And as per the section 59 of the IBC, this company will be voluntarily liquidated. And again, please remember, there is a role for the IRP, Insolvency Resolution Professional. So IP कहो या IRP कहो, दोनों एक ही मतलब में यूज करते हैं. तो IRP का रोल है सो अगर एक कंपनी आज की तारीख में वॉलंटरी लिक्विडेशन के लिए जाती है, तो ये कंपनी, दिस कंपनी ऑल्सो हैज टू कंपल्सरीली अपॉइंट एन क्वालिफाइड इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोफेशनल एज IRP. Without that, the process of voluntary liquidation cannot be completed. So these are the 4 processes, friends, as far as the corporates are concerned. And corporate, as I said, companies incorporated under any statute, and number 2, any LLP, so limited liability partnership. Then you have a non-corporate. Non-corporate is the second part. Non-corporate will mean it is applicable to individuals and the partnership firms, normal partnership firms. And as of now, as I understand, this is still not yet notified. The non-corporate portion, maybe there is a need for the infrastructure to be built up, perhaps. So, but as and when that happens, the non-corporates will have 3 processes. That means there are 3 processes mentioned in the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code for the individuals and the partnerships, and that is fresh start process. That means somebody who has genuinely suffered loss in business, genuinely got into difficulty, then there's a provision for fresh start process कि भाई ठीक है, आपसे गलती हो गई, चलो उसको भूल जाओ, आप अभी आगे से आगे बढ़ो, तो उसका प्रोसेस बताया है. Then there is an insolvency resolution process which is same as CIRP, and then you got a bankruptcy order. यानी कि अगर एक पार्टनरशिप और एक इंडिविजुअल की इंसॉल्वेंसी रिजॉल्व नहीं होती है, तो then this partnership firm or this individual has to go for compulsory bankruptcy. So these are the provisions, friends, as far as the IBC code is concerned. And I am sure ये जो मैंने आपको बैकग्राउंड दिया है, जब आप IBC कोड को पढ़ना शुरू करेंगे और जब IBC कोड के रेगुलेशंस और रूल्स को पढ़ना शुरू करेंगे, I am sure this understanding that you have just gained will help you immensely in getting conceptual understanding about the whole law, that is the code as well as rules and regulations. और यहाँ पर मैं आपको एक चीज बताना चाहूंगा फ्रेंड्स, वो ये कि fortunately the IBBI has been really doing a fantastic job, and I'm sure you will notice it that the law, the IBC code has been drafted in a very, very simple and easy language. There are no complexities, and that is what you will enjoy, and you will also feel when you start preparing for the IBC. And number 2, IBBI has been extremely proactive from time to time with by coming out with the updates and new regulations. So whenever they feel that something is missing, so they would immediately very promptly come out with a new regulation or make the amendment as may be necessary for suiting the situation. Now with this background as to what is the genesis of IBC, what is the purpose of IBC, and what is given in the IBC, let us now move forward to how to prepare for the IBC exam. जैसा कि मैंने आपको पहले बताया, एग्जाम थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, पर उतना डिफिकल्ट नहीं है जितना कि वैल्यूएशन का एग्जाम है. वैल्यूएशन का एग्जाम बहुत ही ज़्यादा डिफिकल्ट है, इंसॉल्वेंसी का एग्जाम उतना ज़्यादा डिफिकल्ट नहीं है. और दोनों में एक फ़र्क ये भी है कि वैल्यूएशन के एग्जाम में आपके न्यूमेरिकल चैप्टर्स काफ़ी हैं और करीब करीब वैल्यूएशन के एग्जाम में 2/3 जो कंटेंट है वो न्यूमेरिकल है. इसमें न्यूमेरिकल बहुत कम है, मतलब नेग्लिजिबल है. व्हेन इट कम्स टू द फाइनेंस एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, ओनली दैट पार्ट इज न्यूमेरिकल. अदरवाइज इट इज ऑल थ्योरी. And therefore it requires much less an effort than the evaluation exam would take. While on the topic, let me also tell you, the exam of the independent director is even easier. As a matter of fact, all of you are practicing company secretaries, and I would very strongly recommend all of you that you must register yourself, because you are a practicing company secretary. You are eligible to be appointed on the board of directors of different company as independent director, so long as you do not have any conflict of interest. You must appear for that independent directors exam also. Maybe that you will get some good opportunity to be on the board of certain listed companies and also unlisted public companies. All right. So with this understanding, friends, let us look at as to what strategy to follow for preparing this exam. Now, number 1, remember, this exam is very interesting yet very challenging. Interesting because ये एग्ज़ाम का कोर्स करिकुलम इतना वास्ट है कि आपका बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट बढ़िया रिफ्रेशिंग हो जाती है. So this course, really speaking, is an excellent refresher course. This course and also the evaluation exam and also the director's exam, all of them are fantastic refresher course. And they are very interesting because they give you an opportunity to refresh your knowledge and understanding, not only of the IBC code, but also many other laws that we will see. This, of course, as we know, is not a typical pen and paper exam. It is MCQ based. Total score 100 marks का है और passing 60 की है. पासिंग 60 का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम कहाँ पे है? प्रॉब्लम है नेगेटिव मार्किंग है. सो नेगेटिव मार्किंग है, दैट मीन्स यू हैव टू बी रियली केयरफुल. एंड व्हाई यू हैव टू बी रियली वेरी केयरफुल? बिकॉज एनी क्वेश्चन दैट यू मार्क आंसर इनकरेक्टली, यू विल लूज 0.25 स्कोर, एंड दैट इज द डेंजर. एंड देयरफॉर समटाइम्स ऐसा हो सकता है कि आप अदरवाइज पास हो रहे हों, लेकिन आपने बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग आंसर किए हैं, इसलिए आप पास होते होते फेल हो सकते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, समझो आपने 100 मार्क्स का पेपर है, 100 मार्क्स के सारे क्वेश्चन आपने आंसर किए, एंड इन द अल्टीमेट एनालिसिस यू रियलाइज कि आपने 67 जो क्वेश्चन हैं वो सही मार्क किए, आंसर किए. इसका मतलब आपको 67 का स्कोर तो मिलना ही चाहिए, और मिलना ही चाहिए था, और 67 का अगर आपको स्कोर मिलता तो आप पास हो जाते थे, इजंट इट? लेकिन आपने क्या किया? आपने जो बाकी के 33 जो क्वेश्चन हैं उनको रॉन्गली आंसर किया. 33 क्वेश्चन को आपने रॉन्गली आंसर किया. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि आपको 8.25 नेगेटिव मार्क्स मिले. सो 67 माइनस 8.25 आपका नेट स्कोर हो गया 58.75, यानी कि आप पास होते होते रह गए. सो दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल. एंड इस एग्जाम में मटका नहीं चलता है. सो यू हैव टू बी रियली कॉन्फिडेंट about your preparation. Friends, some of you who were there yesterday in the context of evaluation exam will recollect, I am sure, quite well. And those of you who are attending this session first time, for you is going to be a new thing. Now, मैंने क्या किया है कि based on my experience, what I have done, ये पूरे जो कोर्स करिकुलम है इस एग्जाम का, उसको मैंने 4 पार्ट्स में उसको क्लासिफाई किया है. क्यों किया है? कोर्स करिकुलम बहुत वास्ट है. इतना है कि आप पढ़ते पढ़ते थक जाओगे, लेकिन कोर्स करिकुलम खत्म नहीं होगा. और अगर आप पूरा 100% पढ़ने के लिए गए तो मैं आपको बताऊं कि आपको कम से कम 1.5-2 साल तो लगेंगे ये एग्जाम को लिखने में. एंड देयरफॉर व्हाट आई हैव डन, आई हैव मार्क्ड टॉपिक्स इन डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल द फर्स्ट कैटेगरी इज प्रोफेशनल, यानी कि मैंने कुछ टॉपिक्स को, और हम देखेंगे एक एक करके, हम देखेंगे वो सारे टॉपिक्स जो कि सिलेबस में हैं. तो मैंने क्या किया है कि कुछ टॉपिक्स को जो कि बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट हैं, इतने इंपॉर्टेंट हैं कि आपको ये टॉपिक्स को तैयार करना ही करना है. यू हैव नो चॉइस. अगर आप में से आप इस टॉपिक को मिस करेंगे तो आप मान के चलिए कि आप ये एग्जाम कभी पास नहीं कर सकते. सो देयर आर सर्टेन टॉपिक्स आई हैव मार्क्ड देम एज प्रोफेशनल. इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि ये जो टॉपिक्स हैं, इनकी तैयारी आपकी एकदम जबरदस्त होनी चाहिए. जबरदस्त यानी कि अगर आपको सोते से भी कोई सवाल पूछ ले pertaining to this topic, you should be able to give the answer just like this. So that is a topic. Those are the topics that I have marked as professional. We will see them together as we move forward. Then there are certain topics I have marked them as high, and you will see it. That means now these topics are not as important in terms of the preparation, because these are the topics where you already have some good knowledge, but you still have to spend some time. So कुछ topics को मैंने mark किया as high. So these topics need extra attention and time. Now by the way, अगर आप में से किसी को ये PPT की कॉपी चाहिए तो आप मुझे एक व्हाट्सएप मैसेज भेज सकते हैं ये PPT की, और कल वाले PPT की भी अगर आपको कॉपी चाहिए तो आप मुझे एक व्हाट्सएप मैसेज मेरे नंबर पर भेज सकते हैं. एंड जो भी मुझे रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कॉपी के लिए, मैं उनको पर्सनली डेफिनेटली आई विल सेंड कॉपीज ऑफ माय प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ टुडे एज वेल ऑफ यस्टरडे. दोज ऑफ यू who would like to have a copy can send me a small request. Now third category of the topic is normal. Normal का मतलब क्या है? Relatively easier and you may be already aware of these topics. So कुछ टॉपिक ऐसे हैं कि इजी हैं और उनकी आपकी नॉलेज पहले से अच्छी हो सकती है, तो फिर ऐसे टॉपिक को मैंने नॉर्मल कैटेगरी में रखा है। एंड फाइनली फोर्थ टॉपिक इज चेक इनपुट आउटपुट रेशियो, यानी कि ये टॉपिक कैसे हैं, ये टॉपिक इतना वास्ट हैं और इनका जो वेटेज है एग्जाम में 100 में से इसमें से जो मार्क्स आएंगे 1 या 2 मार्क्स आएंगे, तो ऑब्वियसली जो आपका इनपुट आउटपुट रेशियो इज नॉट फेवरेबल। सो इफ आई हैव टू स्पेंड 1 month in preparing one subject or one topic, and if I am going to get 1 question or 2 question out of that topic, now I have to ask myself, is it really worth spending so much of time on that particular topic at this point in time? So ये जो है आपके सामने आपकी स्क्रीन पर प्रोफेशनल हाई नॉर्मल चेक इनपुट आउटपुट रेशियो, इसका